You're back with the Freaks, Lucas Oil Studios, Freak Nation. It'll be 22 years coming up in June that we've been doing this thing. A great website to check out to keep your rides on the road. It's lucasoil.com. It's lucasoil.com. Myatt Snider, Jordan Anderson joining us now here in the Freak Nation. As I mentioned earlier, I've been chasing down these happy bastards for, it feels like 6 years, actually, for about 6 weeks. We finally got it. Myatt Snider running the Xfinity Series. Jordan Anderson is a driver and a team owner. So many things I want to talk to you guys about. But first of all, let's get this out of the way. Myatt, you shaved your damn face. Now you're growing the beard back. And when you shaved your face, it looked like you were 15. How can a dude that has such a baby face have so much hair on his chin? How'd that work out?
I think I can categorize it as supreme laziness, because I don't think I shaved since Martinsville the previous year. So that was all the way in like October or November. So good like 4 or 5 months of just letting it go out. And so I had the full Amish mode going. So if I kept it going any longer, we might have had to run this trailer without any electricity. Well,
again, my point is you have a baby face, Myatt. And it's incredible that you have this big burly freaking beard. It looked as if you had went to a costume shop and put it on, but no, that was a legit beard, bro.
It's weird because my dad can't really grow a beard. He doesn't really have the beard genes, and so I don't know. I guess I'm just a freak of nature.
Ooh, so that makes Dad jealous, I would assume.
I don't think he's quite jealous of it. I think it's his beard grows a little slower, so he doesn't have to shave it as often. So I'm just like, I've been blessed and cursed with this.
Jordan, you're married now. It's been a staunch 2 weeks, I believe. What about a beard for you? I mean, what's the wife say? Facial hair or no facial hair? Come November, are you going to do the Movember thing?
She's not a fan. I tried to go Myatt's route, and after Phoenix last year, the last race of the year, I tried to let it go and grow out. For some reason, this area here doesn't grow in, so I had like the neck beard going on, and she just wasn't a fan of that. So I wasn't graced with the beard gene that Myatt got. So I'll keep a shaved face, and she's a little bit more happier with that. So as long as she's happy, I'll keep it clean shaven, and the whole house will be happy. So I've already learned that note, so we'll keep it that way.
That's actually more Amish than Myatt, though.
Statman shaking his head. He knows exactly what Jordan's talking about.
Yeah, it took me a while. I was long an adult and through with adult beverages by the time I was able to grow a beard. So it was strange. I know when we were on TV, I tell you,
it's funny, because we were joking about it because Myatt shaved it. And we went and ran Martinsville and had a good night there. And then Talladega, got a top 10. So I'm like, man, you're going to have to keep the clean shaven face. So it's working out for him. But we've had a whirlwind week. I mean, Talladega was a big weekend for us, to come away with a top 10. I had a birthday the week before, got married. A lot of good things going on. So we're at Dover this weekend, hopefully keeping the momentum rolling. But it's been a crazy year. It's been a fun year. The first season that we've been able to work together with Myatt and bring him on board with us, and our team is growing. I mean, it wasn't 3-4 years ago we were just getting started in the truck series, and now to be running Xfinity every week, it's been exciting, but a lot of things going on, and I got to introduce my wife now as a co-owner on the team now, I guess. So it's a whole new chapter of life.
I'm liking that.
Myatt, with that kind of resume, you'll never be able to shave again. Jordan's
got to have a birthday every week, and he's got to get married every week if we're going to have luck.
Well, hold on, though, because you guys are talking about that when we're talking about facial hair or birthdays and weddings and what brings luck on the track. Are you guys, both of you or either one of you, superstitious? Because the lineage of superstitions in racing goes long. Does it apply to you guys?
I mean, I actually tried a playoff beard last year. Well, I did the opposite. I did a playoff shave. So I had a beard all the way up to Bristol last year. And we were actually starting to kind of come into our own and run really good. And then as soon as I shaved it, we had bad luck. So I don't know, maybe I do need to keep it.
Oh, Jordan?
Not really. There's a few things that I'm more of a repetition kind of guy. If I've got a good day or a good race or something, I'll go back and try and do things a certain way. I mean, I like my certain things I'll eat for a day, or certain things I'll drink, or certain things like that. But, you look back at some of the jokes, like you can't have a $50 bill. Well, Both times I ran Daytona and we finished second, somebody gave me a $50 bill and I had one in my wallet both times.
No, come on.
When I started racing dirt late models, our sponsor was my hometown, Forest Acres. Their colors were white and green, so I had a green dirt late model for 2 years, and we won a lot of races with that thing. So we kind of broke a lot of the superstitions. The only thing that I won't let somebody have, and my dad's done it a couple times, he's brought peanuts to the racetrack, and that's a no-go. Like, get those things out of here. That's about the only thing that I hold true to is don't bring peanuts anywhere around here, because I think the last 3 or 4 times, because my dad loves peanuts. We're from South Carolina. He loves boiled peanuts. He goes all over those things. And I think every single time he's brought them to the racetrack, he either crashed or blown a motor, or the trailers burn a bearing on the way to the track. I'm like, no more. So that's about the only thing.
So when you put your shoes on, either one of you, when you put your shoes on, is it left, right, or right, left?
I don't know. I never thought about that one. I just put them on. What about you?
I haven't ever done that, but I've seen some people who will put one pant leg on and then put the shoe on, and then they'll put one other pant leg on, put the shoe on, and I think that's just insanity. So I don't do that.
Holy
I've got enough other problems
smokes.
to try to add one more to my thing to remember and keep up with. There's only so much room up there.
Well, the reason I wanted to team you guys up is because, Jordan, you still consider yourself a racer, a driver, but you're also a big-time Xfinity Series team owner. So there's got to be a lot of emotions going on, and it's something that you guys don't necessarily want to talk about. But we got to bring it up because I've never had a chance to ask this of somebody. As a team owner, when you see your driver on the backstretch of Daytona, last lap, up in the catch fence, give me your emotions, and then Matt, share your emotions with me, maybe as it's happening, and then after, from your perspective of, oh hell, the car's damaged. Okay, I'm okay. What's Jordan thinking? I just want to hear the array of emotions that went down during that last lap.
Yeah, I tell you, that's for me, and Myatt will probably say so as well. But for me this year, I think that watching him race and seeing him in the pit box has been more stressful than being behind the wheel. Because something about being a race car driver, it's so much of a control thing. Like, you're the one that's holding the steering wheel. You're in control of what that race car does. And when I'm sitting on the pit box watching him race, it's kind of a helpless feeling because I can't help him. I can't do anything. And I think those last, I think, Kenny, when you actually came by the pit box there with like 20 to go, I was a nervous wreck. Like, my hands are sitting here like shaking because he's 3 wide in the middle and there's guys crashing everywhere. And I'm like, oh, please don't tear this thing up. So, it's definitely a crazy feeling. But yeah, going back to that Daytona deal, we were sitting in the pit box and, he done a great job all race. We were sitting like 5th place in the last lap. And we're in a really good shot because Daytona, I mean, heck, the year before in the truck series, I was 11th at the white flag. He was 5th. So we were still in contention for potentially coming out up front on that deal. But yeah, it's definitely not a good feeling. The first thing you think is hopefully he's all right. And then I see him get out of the car and he walks the ambulance and I'm like, man, we just lost a race car. I mean, the rear clip's 100 yards down the racetrack, the motors in turn 3, like that thing was pretty torn up. But it put a lot of things in perspective for me. I mean, I'd never been that position. Still a fairly new owner on this side of things, and sitting outside the care center while he was in the care center for probably about an hour. Definitely an emotional roller coaster for me, but just thankful that our guys built a safe race car. Makes you appreciate the chassis. We get RCR chassis, and we've got he runs a carbon fiber seat with a pour in it. Everything on the safety side of things did its job. So sometimes we forget that racing is still a dangerous sport, but we're very fortunate that things are to the level they are with what NASCAR does on the safety level of things. That we can have crashes like that, and he was back in the race car the next week, and it's like that's still insane to think about. But we're pretty tough on the racing side of things, but. I don't know. I'm sure you're probably tired of talking about the Daytona crash. That's got to be like, I don't know, for me as a driver, like I've had some crashes, but like that one there is one that you're going to be like 70 years old sitting on the couch. Hey kids, look at this from back in the day. Y'all seen me do this before? No.
And I walked away.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, it was frustrating for me because, I just want to get a good finish for the team. I starting off the year strong is important. It doesn't define the rest of the year, but it helps to just, get everybody amped up. And, you start off with like a top 5 or something like that. And it makes you more hyped for the rest of the year. And so, and we were this close from it. So basically what happened is I just got, I got 2 pushes that were too close together. Like the guy behind me was pretty aggressive. And so he pushed me once and got me sideways. and I kind of started to correct it, and then he pushed me again before I could finish correcting it, and that's kind of what got us sent into the fence. And so I spun off the nose of the guy next to me, and then I was kind of nose to nose with the guy all the way next to the wall. And they had a head of steam, so they were pushing me, and that kind of just caused the car to lift up. And at that point, I knew that nothing that would happen from there would be any good. So I was like, all right, well, here it goes. And after that, it was just kind of a blur because everything, the car caught the fence, it spun around, and then it landed back on the track pretty quickly. And the chassis actually got so twisted up from it that when it was sliding to a stop, the left side of the car was on the ground. And I thought it was, once it hit the grass, that it was going to dig in and flip over again. I'm like, please not again. And luckily, it didn't happen again. So come to a stop. I look to my right. Transmission's gone. There's a gaping hole in the car. And I'm like, oh, the motor's gone. I look around me and I'm like, oh, everything's gone but me. So,
whoa.
And I get out and I kind of look at the car and there's not much left of it. And I'm like, all right then. So a funny story I have about everything that followed that was my girlfriend has been on me to be better about texting her back after the race and letting me know I'm okay if something happens, or just letting her know that I'm fine. And so I'm like, the first thing I thought about after I laid down in the ambulance, I was like, I should text her. And so I look over to the paramedic and I was like, hey, can I see your phone? He was like, sure. He gives me his phone and I'm like, I'm okay. It's Myatt. And so I tried to call my dad, but of course he's not going to pick up some random Daytona Beach number. And so I got to see him, and luckily I was pretty okay with it because everything that happened, because I knew that I was fine. I knew that, my foot was just a little bruised, but luckily I came out of it okay, and I was able to race next week. But really I was more upset that we didn't get to finish the race because we were going to end up like third, fourth, or fifth, something like that. So it's that's just how racers are.
Well, I don't want to harp on this, and this is the last question, or last statement was, Jordan, you're right. I was hanging out by your pits doing some social media for Lucas and Mav, and you were pacing, and Marty, Myatt's dad, was there too, and Dad's pacing. I don't know Marty. I've never met him, but I know who he is, of course, with his broadcast career. And I can only imagine, I'm the father of an 8-year-old daughter. I can only imagine being the father of a NASCAR driver, seeing that fireball on the back stretch. What was the conversation that you had with Marty Snider once you were able to see him? Were there tears? Were there hugs? What was it?
Yeah, so down there at Daytona, I was on the pit box and Marty was down below. And when it happened, I just kind of sat there in the pit box for a minute or two trying to just process what just happened. And I didn't see Marty until we got down to the care center and just kind of talking back and forth. And, Marty was like, I guess he got to go in, and he's like, all right, he's good. They're just running some tests and stuff like that. But yeah, it definitely was some silence there for a little while, until everything was out A-okay. But, it's been cool, being able to work with Marty and Myatt on this deal. I mean, I'd say probably back in October of last year when we first started talking about working together. And, Marty and Myatt have a close relationship, much like my dad and I do. My dad was down in Talladega with us last weekend, and so much about what we do in racing turns towards business, but to be able to still have that family side of it is, I know it's important for me, and I know it's important for Myatt and his family. So for both of us still to have our dads involved in our racing career and our family and what we have going on, definitely. I mean, my dad will probably travel with me to 25 races this year. I know Marty and Myatt spend a lot of time together at the racetrack, and we may not realize it now, but probably 30, 40 years from now, we're going to be really thankful we had a lot of time with each other at the racetrack, a lot of good memories. And, I know for both of us, our dads have both been mentors to us and have taught us a lot about the business of racing and business in general, life and family and faith. And, you look back on that Daytona crash, and we talked about this several times, there was definitely, God was definitely looking out after him and protected him. And that'll be part of his testimony many years down the road that he was able to make it through that crazy deal there. So got a lot to be thankful for, and got a lot of awesome people around us, and just a lot to be thankful for sure.
Yeah,
Myatt.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Myatt. Didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say that listening to you talk about the cell phone issue and needing to communicate with your dad, communicate with your girlfriend, it just makes me think Brad Keselowski ruined this for everybody. You guys can't carry your cell phones in your fire suits anymore. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, if I had my cell phone with me and that was happening, I would obviously just taken a video and so I could have that for later.
He'd be on TikTok climbing around the car and be like, "Oh, sorry."
Seriously. Does it ever get a little strange though, Myatt, with your dad being on the media side of things and you being the athlete? Is there ever any strange moments when you're like, okay, I'm being interviewed by my dad. This is weird.
Well, actually, that has never happened, believe it or not. And my dad dreads the day when it does because, with him having his job and, the way it works is that he's able to he's able to be two different people at the racetrack. He's able to be the interviewer, Marty Snider, the professional, and then he's able to be dad and kind of just watch me and, see what I do. And so that's the day that when that happens, that's when he's going to have to, he's going to have to put away the dad moment or put away the dad personality. And he's going to have to be the interviewer, the professional Marty Snider, and ask me professional questions and not let, his feelings and emotions get to him. And so we've talked about this and he definitely dreads the day when that happens because it's going to be difficult for him. But I think it'll make for a great TV moment, kind of, Ned Jarrett and Dale Jarrett kind of vibe.
There you go. There you go.
So, Myatt, talking about your dad, I know I've had this experience before. For all your life, you've been Marty's son. When does Marty become Myatt's dad? Has that happened yet?
When I was short track racing, that happened a lot. People were just starting to get to know me, and before I had really built a name for myself, and even all the way up to the ARCA series, they're like, "Oh, you're Marty's boy." Yes, I am. So that happened a lot, and then finally, when I started doing trucks, it got known that I'm Myatt Snider, and now I'm getting to the point where people are commenting on posts that make the connection between me and my dad. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I never made that connection. Oh my gosh, I never knew." And so it's just kind of funny to see that happen.
Myatt Snider, Jordan Anderson joining us here in the Freak Nation, of course, running the Xfinity Series. You got the Monster Mile this weekend. And Jordan, as a team owner, it's fun to watch young team owners, and we're seeing it in the Cup Series, in the Xfinity Series, where back in the day, you didn't have a shot in hell to win a race. But now, new owners, Trackhouse, Jordan Anderson, I could go on and on. You guys have a shot to win races and to win championships. I mean, Colic Racing, for freak's sake, taking on the powerhouses. What's been the big difference for owners like yourself that you can compete with those big guns, whether it's Childress or Hendrick or Stuart Haas?
Yeah, I think you're starting to see the playing field get leveled out on a lot of different points. So you go starting at the bottom, like a truck series. They came in 2018 with the Elmore motors. So, no matter whether you're Chevy, Ford, Toyota, you've got to run that Elmore motor. So that kind of equaled the playing field out there. You come up to the Xfinity Series, we run the composite body. So, you may have a different nose or different tail, but every single car out here has got to run this composite body. So it moved away from when we had fabricators making, fenders and doors. And you guys remember the twisted bodies that they used to run here in the Xfinity Series. So we've gotten away from that and moved toward the composite body. And now you see on the Cup Series, they've gone to this next-gen car, which you look at Ross's win last week, that was the same car he won with Dakota. So, to see that kind of, movability to run a car at different tracks. You see that a little bit on the Xfinity Series, but you can basically say that you look at a team like JGR or RCR and you look at our team, we're able to go by RCR chassis. We run their chassis. We run ECR motors. We've got the same body they do. So the gap has closed quite a bit. And with that gap being closed, it takes down payroll. I don't have to keep 3 or 4 full-time fabricators on staff because these bodies they go together a lot easier. So, being able to outsource some of that stuff has certainly brought costs down. It's brought overhead down quite a bit. And we're able to take that money you typically would have to spend in those areas, and we're able to spend it more on, spindles and things that can make more of a difference on how the car handles and give Myatt a better piece. So, we've really tried to stockpile over the last year and a half on what we did. And this whole thing started winter of 2020. We made a decision to go Xfinity race, and we started out by buying 5 cars from RCR. And as the year went on last year and even this year, we bought more, and we're up to right under 18 chassis and bodies that we purchased together to just keep building inventory. And as we work to kind of get our stuff better, we're able to streamline to make sure all the parts are the same. We're able to build some sim engineering software to kind of help our cars better when they unload. So everything that we're doing is working towards trying to be a better and more competitive race team. team. And, it is crazy. I mean, I still remember coming to Dover in 2018, and I drove in here with one truck that I'd run the week before and my dually and gooseneck. So, fast forward 4 years later, it's kind of crazy to see how much we've grown. But I think it's a perfect example of, motorsports as a whole went through a tough time, 15, 16, 17, across the board. And I think a lot of that was bigger picture of the economy, but things have gone pretty well. And I think you look at a lot of teams. I mean, we're very fortunate that, we've got partners that have stuck with us. Myatt's got Tag Slayer, Louisiana Hot Sauce, Superior Essex. We've got the guys from Bomberito Automotive. We've got Lucas Oil. I mean, Lucas has been with me since 2015. They've been with me from day one. So, what makes a successful team owner is having partners and people that stick behind them through the good times and the bad. And, from day one, having people that have stood behind us and helped us grow this thing is what's allowed us to get here. I mean, we all know racing, that it's cubic dollars is what makes race cars go faster. And, the more we can invest and stay here. I mean, every single year, I feel like our team is getting better. We're getting more competitive. We're adding more depth to our team and both people and our resources. So it's just a process. It doesn't happen overnight, but it has been cool to see, guys like myself and Sam Hunt and Tommy Joe Martins in the Xfinity Series. You've got Justin Marks and with Trackhouse on the Cup side and Matt Cogg and those guys. So definitely some new blood coming in and fortunate to be on that wave. So hopefully we can keep it riding. I mean, we've been close a couple of times this year to getting up there on the front row, and we just got to keep at it. And I think Myatt's going to do a good job for us the rest of the year. And now that we've got things turned around, we just got to keep digging and see where it takes us.
Oh, it's definitely coming. The snowplow got in the way in Talladega. I still don't know what the heck was going on there.
Hold on. Now that you bring it up, Crasher, here you go. Look at that beauty.
Oh, check that out.
There it is.
Seriously, who puts their debris out there like that? Totally.
I drove up and down the racetrack doing whatever I could trying to get that thing off. It actually ended up being a good thing because it allowed us to come in and take fuel while everybody else was running out of fuel late in the race, we were still way good on ready to go. So Jordan Anderson Racing and Snider Plowing Services ready to go.
Yes. Hey, Jordan referenced earlier about how the motorsports industry needed to really make some changes in the mid-teens of the 2000s, and they did. And IndyCar is seeing a benefit, NASCAR is seeing a benefit, Formula One, holy cow, that's a whole nother animal right now. But everybody is starting to climb back up. But with that is the necessity for more change to just continue to making the product better. Myatt, where do you stand on, the talk about we need to shorten races in NASCAR, we need to shorten the season? A lot of people are either on one side or the other. They're not really middle ground. Where do you stand on some of those issues?
Well, I am the middle ground, so I'll help you out here. So I think that some Cup races should be shorter. Like, I think having a ton of 500-mile races is not truly necessary anymore, but I do think that they should save, the 500-600 milers for the big crown jewel stuff, the Coke 600, the Southern 500, it's not the Brickyard 400 anymore, but, those types of big races, I think those are important to, keep the traditional length. It's really cool to see, it makes it special too, so, you think if most races were only 400 miles and then suddenly someone, who's only a casual fan sees a 500-mile race, they might be a little more interested, or they see a 600-mile race and they're like, why is it different? And so, so I think saving those big length races for the crown jewel events, I think that's important. And that's just a part of something that NASCAR is going to have to figure out. But I think, they've shown a willingness to make those changes and to try new tracks and try new places. And I think, the sport's on a good curve. Do
you like the road courses, adding more road courses to all the schedules throughout NASCAR?
Absolutely. I spent a full season of doing just road course racing a couple of years ago. And I think it's great to showcase that the drivers in NASCAR can do just about anything, doing dirt, that's cool. Doing road courses, that's especially cool. So showcasing the talents that we all have to, build race cars that can do it and have drivers that can do it. I think that's important.
Yeah, okay. The dirt thing. This is it's driving me crazy. It's been driving me crazy for weeks since pre-Bristol. When Kyle Busch says, yeah, I agree with Richard Petty, it takes the sport back when we go back to dirt. I totally don't buy into that because I think it just gives it another element and it just creates more diversity in and among the sport that's an exciting factor for fans.
Absolutely. And, they fans see a traditional racetrack and they're like, oh, it's a racetrack. And then they see a dirt track and they're like, oh, that's different. Some of these people, may have never seen a dirt track in their life before. So it's especially cool to go to a place, I really enjoyed when the Truck Series went to Eldora. I thought that was really cool. It drew so many fans, and it just showed people, what NASCAR racing and racing is about in general. And so I think there's still some developments to be made in the whole dirt aspect of NASCAR, but I think, NASCAR's trying to make it work.
Jordan, as a team owner, do you like the fact that you've got to prepare a car or eventually prepare a car to run on the dirt?
It does not hurt my feelings right now that the Xfinity doesn't race on dirt, because I went through that. We ran 3 years in the Truck Series. We had Eldora, and then we had Knoxville last year and the Bristol race. And there's only been a handful of times where I've had to basically junk an entire race car, and pretty much after every dirt race, you're just like, all right, let's pull the seat out, the motor out, the fuel cell out, and ship it to the junkyard. So it's if you have enough inventory, dirt racing, you love it. But when you're down on inventory and you basically scrap a car, it's a little rough. But, like we said, I give it to NASCAR, that next gen race at Bristol. They figured out how to get the track to where it was taking a little bit of rubber. The cars seemed to handle well. I mean, heck, you watch that truck race at Bristol. That's the first time in history every truck finished a race. Whoa. So I think they're starting to figure out how to do these dirt races, because as you guys know, there's so much that goes into dirt racing with how you prep the racetrack. And I think that first year they went to Bristol, the track was just way too soupy. There's too much water on there, and they kind of figured out a happy medium to where, we could actually see where the guys are going, and there's not mud everywhere, and they kind of found that balance. So like you said, I think the more that we do this stuff and we think outside the box, it'll be better. And, you look back to what happened with COVID 2 years ago, getting rid of practice. I mean, we used to show up and we'd be practicing for hours upon hours and just chewing up tires and time on the motors. And, that's brought the cost down to be able to cut some of that out. I mean, I know it's made it a little bit harder for the drivers to we just show up and pretty much go race. But, there's a new time for everything, and we found out what we can do with and what we can do without, and we've made it work, and I think it's made the sport healthier.
Well, we'll end it with this, man. I saw it firsthand. I'm watching that watching the Cup race at Bristol with a dude who's a big Boston Celtics fan. We watched the Celtics game, then went into the Cup race, and he would know the difference between an Indy car and a Cup car. And we sat there. It's the longest Cup race I've watched in a couple of years, but he sat there and he was blown away by it. And now, hey, Kitty, how do I get tickets for the finals in Phoenix? That's you as a team owner and a driver. That's the crap you guys want. You want those new eyeballs to fill the seats of those folks that are falling off the back of the bleachers.
100%. Yeah, it makes it so much more fun and just electrifying when you can walk down pit road before a race and you see the grandstands filled and people are cheering. I mean, you can hear it, you can feel the electricity when people are at the racetrack. I mean, that's one thing when COVID was going on with no fans. It was just like a practice session, it just feels so much different when the fans aren't there. So now that fans are back at the track and we're having great crowds and people are turning out, and people are, like Mike said earlier, they're able to experience our sport for the first time and see really how cool it is and be able to take it all in. I mean, there were a lot of people having a good time at Talladega last week, and they may have been hurting a little bit on Monday, but they had a great time, I guarantee you, down there in Talladega. But it's been cool to see how many more people are watching our sport and turning in to watch it. And I think you'd probably echo that, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. Getting brand new eyeballs on this sport is what's going to keep it going, So I think the sport tried it a couple decades ago, and it kind of was a mixed bag. And, now we're going about it in a better way, I feel like. And so it's just about growing the sport in a healthy way and getting more people interested in racing. And, I think as a sport, we've done a lot better job.
Well, drivers supposedly become soft when they get married. Myatt, has Jordan become soft in the last couple of weeks now that he's married?
I don't know. It's like only kind of soft. So, no, he's still the same guy. Still won't text me back.
Oh, dude, text him back. That's your driver.
I'm just giving him crap.
I'll make a phone call before I do a text. I think I got like 394 unread text messages right now. So if you need to get me, call me.
Yeah.
Well, no, we are seriously in that crossover era. Some people can't stand texting while others can't stand talking on the phone. That's interesting to me. So you would much rather prefer standing there on pit lane, shouting into your phone because it's so damn loud out around you, than just getting a text and saying yes or no.
I'm an old soul, I guess.
Yeah. Yes,
Myatt,
sir.
which one are you? Text or phone?
We're talking about phones. I don't know what you guys use. We are harping on Myatt to switch over to an iPhone. He still has, what is it, a Droid or
Android? Yes,
Android,
it's a Samsung.
So every video he takes looks like it was filmed on a potato. So we're trying to get him capabilities.
At least that's extra black.
Does he have to do?
Oh!
Does he have to do this? He has to flip it.
It does not flip. Actually, it does flip. It flips sideways. Look at it. Where's your phone at? Look, it flips that way.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh. Feel a potato.
See, now, if
That's
I did that with an iPhone, it would just break.
Yes, that's
Oh,
true.
that valid. Yep.
Oh, I can see the battles coming. Hey, guys, I know it's tough to get both of you guys together, according to Myatt, but this is awesome, man. I'm glad we're able to do it. We'll see you around the track more often. Let's get a win, God dang it, so we can get you in here to celebrate a win, Myatt, all right?
That's the goal.
Fellas, thank you guys very much. This has been awesome. Good luck to you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. See ya.